Hi everyone, this is Sumit K. In this video, I'm going to talk about AWS Directory Services. So AWS Directory Services, if you know what is Active Directory and if you have worked on Active Directory in your on-prem environment, then the AWS Directory Services it is a similar services, but it is a cloud managed offering now, right? So AWS Directory Services, it is basically an AD services, but it is a managed services based on this Windows environment. So you can see that here the AWS Directory Services, there are three ways that you can deploy your directory services on your AWS Cloud. So the first one is simple AD, the second one is Microsoft AD, and the third one is AD connector. I think simple AD has been deprecated, so it is no longer in use. So you can see only Microsoft AD and AD connector. So before we talk about AWS directory services, let's just understand what is that. What is the meaning of the AWS Directory Services? So AWS Directory Services provide multiple ways to use a Microsoft Active Directory with the other AWS services. So directories basically store information, right, about the users, about the groups and the device, and administration use them to manage access to information and resources. So AWS Directory Services provide multiple directory choice for customers who want to use existing Microsoft AD, or they want to spin up here the new directory services onto the cloud, right? So if I say virtually every organization use a directory service such as Active Directories to allow computers to join the domains, list and authenticate the users, and you can locate your resource like printers and network devices, right? So you must have been seen in your on-prem, or you must have been familiar, right, how this Active Directory the overall models work, right? So basically, a centralized directory reduce the amount of administrative work that must be done when an employee joins the organization or change the roles, or when the employee leaves the organization. So everything of this employee credential, from credentials to everything, is managed centrally, right? Uh, so um, so this is so in AWS there is a AWS Directory Services, which is a managed services, and there are two types of directories. You can connect to an existing on-prem directory, or you can set up and run a new directory onto your cloud, right? So we will see that how we can deploy AWS Directory Services in a demo. Uh, Okay, so here let me just talk about all these three things. When and how should you use? So let's say you want to choose a directory services from these three. So how you can use that? So if you want to use the AWS Microsoft Active Directories, which comes in a standard edition or enterprise edition, if you need an actual Microsoft Active Directory in the AWS cloud that support Active Directory aware workloads or AWS application service such as Amazon Workspace or Amazon QuickSight, then you need you can use this AWS Directory Services. Um, AD connector is used if you only need to allow your on-premises user to log into your AWS application and services with their Active Directory credential, right? So it is basically an extension of your on-prem Active Directory to the AWS cloud. So you can use the AD connector. So you can also use AD connector to join a Amazon EC2 instance to your existing Active Directory domain, which is in your on-prem, right? So simple AD, since this is deprecated, but you can earlier we used to use the simple AD if you need a low scale, low cost directory with the basic Active Directory compatibility. That supports, I believe, it supports the Samba 4 compatible application, and so you can use the simple AD for your demo. But right now it is deprecated; you won't see anymore, right? So let's just jump onto my console and I'll show you how you can deploy the Microsoft AWS Active Directory Services. So if you just go to, let me just show you from the scratch. So you can just, if you just type it here, AWS directory, AWS directory, where is that? Oh, just a second. I think directory service, yeah, it's there, directory services. You can search the directory services here, and here once you go to your directory services, one second. Oh, sorry. If you just click on setup directory, so you get a two option, right? AWS Managed Microsoft AD and AD connector, right? So simple AD, I think it's not no more here, and it's deprecated, so you can use any of them. So AD connector we'll talk about later. Let's just focus on how you can create your own Active Directory services on your AWS cloud. So AWS Manage. So this is AWS Manage Microsoft AD. So if you just want to install, you can install it, but it is a managed service. You don't have access to the underlying infrastructure, but you can manage it or connect it using some other way, right? So just click on next. So here, the directory type is a Microsoft AD, and the operating system is must be 2019. And there are two editions: standard edition and enterprise edition. So it is used best for the small to medium sized business, and enterprise is used for the large business where you have more than 5 lakh users or more than that. And it comes and the small and for medium it is for 1 lakh users, like low. So you can use the standard one, right? So just click on that, and this is the pricing. You can see, here you can see that 30,000 optimized for 30,000 object, and this is for 5 lakh object, right? And this is the pricing detail: 979 97 dot 9 the $97 and some cents per month. This is going to be per hour. And um, and you can just compare the cost. So directory DNS name, you have to put your DNS name similar to Active Directory. Let's say I want to say company, let's say anything, my company, ENNY, mycompany.com. And this is optional, and you can also make it any of the description, and this is your admin password. You can just put it any password here, right? And just click on next. Once you click on next, just give me a second. Give me a second. So once you click on next, you need to choose your own VPC and subnet. Since it is a highly available, you need to select two zones subnet. So I will select one subnet in US West 1B and then another subnet in US West 1C. And then you just create on next and review all your configuration and create it. I'm not going to create it because I already created my domain, which I will show you here. Because it when you click on next, when you click on create directory, it is going to take around 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes or more than that to create your directory services. So I'm not going to do that, but for you, if you want to set up, this is the process, right? This is the basic steps, right? So I'm just canceling it. And here you can say I have already created a directory services with a standard edition. And this is my domain name, the DNS name. And the type is Microsoft AD. So right now, if you just click on that, you can see the operating system, the directory NetBIOS name, the directory DNS name, and and this is the DNS address which has been taken from my subnet. These are my subnet, the availability zone, my VPC, and the status is active, right? So what next? So next is, you can think this is your Active Directory, right? Similar to the Active Directory that you use to manage in your on-prem or onto the standalone instance, right? So here the advantage you are facing, that you don't actually managing the underlying infrastructure, and there are a lot of things like patching and all this which will be taken care by the AWS cloud, right? So next, what we are going to do, we're going to create an instance. Basically, the first instance will create it, which is going to which we will domain join to this directory services, and we will also manage our directory services from there with some rset tools. So let's create it. So I'm going to create test one, and I'm making it AD management instance, right? I'm making it the name test one AD management instance. And Microsoft OS, select the base one 2016. You can select 2019 as well. And the instance type, I'm okay with T2 micro. The key pair, I'm going to select my existing key pair. So you need to create your key pair if you don't have, because key pair is required to decrypt your password, to get the password to in order to RDP to your Windows instance, right? Here in the network setting, you can go with the default one, but I have my custom VPC, so I'm going to use that. I'm also enabling the public IP so that I can RDP to this instance for the demo. And the default security group is saying RDP is allowed from anywhere. And I think I'm done. And launch instance. So The first part, like, I mean, in this machine is going to be the management instance to manage your Active Directory. Basically, I'm showing you how you can do the domain joining manually, right? So we will, and then after this we will see how you can domain join with automatically. So we'll do both the demo. So let's just log into this test one, and here let's just, okay, it is still creating, now running. So connect to that, and click on RDP client, get password. So okay, I have to wait for 4 minutes, I think. So let's just wait for a few minutes. Or what I'm gonna do, I'm going to pause my recording, and I'll come back once my server is back and up and running. Okay. All right. So my Windows machine is now up, and I'm able to log in. So here I just fetch my password, and I'm putting the password. Sorry, I'm just putting the password which I have fetched. So I have copied it in my notepad, and I'm now trying to access it. So here I'll show you how you can domain join your, or how you can join your machine manually to your Active Directory domain, right? So right now I'm logging with my administrator local. It's a local administrator password. Remember that. As of now, I'm not logging with the domain. So before you do a domain joining, let's do one thing. You need to go to your network adapter, and you need to set the DNS IP. And what is your DNS IP? You can just go back to your directory services, and here is the DNS address, right? The DNS address has been taken from your subnet range only. So 10.1.0.15, 10.1.2.104. So just set your DNS name here, otherwise your Windows machine will not be able to reach. So I think it's 114. I think it's 104. Um, so it's 104, right? And if you just want to go to your PC, and just a second. Yeah, so it's there. Just click on change setting. We want to change from work group to domain. And select the domain. My domain name is contactus.com. Click on OK. And now you can just put your admin password. So this is the password. So this basically, the admin password is the domain admin password, is the administrator password. So which I have set, during my directory creation, right? So this is the password that I am putting here, right? So you can see that your machine has been domain joined, and it is asking to restart my Windows machine. So just do a restart now. So this is the one way that you can, uh, you know, uh, you can join your machine to your Active Directory domain. This is the one way. And now just let's just see the second way of creating, joining the domain. The second way is, let's create launch instance, and here I'll make it test2, um, test2 machine, maybe test2 machine, and select your Windows machine, select your operating system, and here is the key pair name, which is the same I'm going to set. Choose your VPC, and rest everything is fine. And so here, instead of manually, I am going to do it with automatically. So how you can domain join your machine from the launch console? You can just select this join directory option, and you'll find your directory services that you have just created, right? So this is my domain, contactus.com, my directory service domain. And here the instance profile is very important, right? So this is my instance profile, right? So if you just go to the instance role, I think I already opened this role here. And what role I have chosen? It's demo directory. So you need to create a role here, right? So if you just go to my role, there are two permissions that is must, which is an Amazon SSM Directory Services service and Amazon SSM Manager, right? So these two permissions are required in order to domain join your machine, right? So make sure you have this IAM instance profile to be properly set. Otherwise, your domain will not be joined. And rest everything, just make it default and just create your launch instance. So it will take some time. Meanwhile, what we are going to do, we have just rebooted this machine, right? So let's take a RDP again.
RDP again.
Let's see
Let's
if I am
see
able to
if I
log
am
in with
able
my
to
domain
log
admin
in with my
username and
domain
password.
admin username and
So
password.
let me just
Let
what
me
was the machine
just
name? Test one.
what was
So
the
let me
machine
just log
name?
in here.
Test one.
So let me just log in here. So now here, you don't need to put your local password. So since your machine has been domain
You
joined,
don't need to
so you
put
should
your
be able
local
to log in
password.
with your
So
domain
since
admin,
your
right?
machine has been
So
domain
what was my
joined,
domain name?
so you should
Put
be
your
able to
domain name
log
here
in.
with your domain admin, right? So what was my domain name? Put your domain name and
here
your domain password, right? And your domain password, right? So right now you can see that I am successfully logging with my domain admin or with my domain credential, right? So right now you can see that
So this is
I
my
am
domain credential,
successfully logging with
and
my
I can get in.
domain admin or with my domain credential, right? So this is my domain
Yeah,
credential. So let's do one
and
thing. Let's install
I can get in.
the remote administration tool, and you can install this tool from the server manager in the Windows server. Basically, these tools allow you to manage your Active Directory, right? Because as of now, how do you manage your Active Directories
Yeah.
users, right?
So
Usually,
let's do
in
one
a
thing. Let's
traditional way, what you
install
do, you basically install
the
your
remote administration
machine,
tool,
a Windows machine, and then you
and you
deploy.
can
I mean,
install this tool
promote
from the
your
server manager
machine
in
as
the
a domain controller,
Windows
right?
server. Basically, these
But your
tools
domain
allow
control is
you
already
to
set up by
manage
the
your Active
AWS. So now you
Directory,
want
right?
to manage
Because as
your
of
domain
now, how do
controller or
you
Active
manage
Directory
your
users
Active
and computers.
Directories
So here
users,
you need
right?
to install
Usually, in a
roles.
traditional
I
way,
mean,
what you
there are some
do, you
features.
basically install your
Okay, let's just wait for a
machine,
second. A Windows machine, and then you deploy. Promote your machine as a domain controller, right? But your domain controller is already set up by the AWS. So now
Okay.
you want to
So
manage
here, just
your
click on
domain
next.
controller on Active Directory users and computers. So here you need to install
Click on next, and here you will see.
roles. I mean, there are some features. This
Okay,
one, the
let's just
remote
wait for
server
a second.
administration tool, which you need to install. Just click on next, next, and install it. So it will take a couple of minutes. Okay. So here, just click on next. Click on next, and here you will see this one, the remote server administration tool, which you need to install. Just click on next, 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 and install
Okay,
it.
it will take.
All right, so my RSET tool has been installed. You can see that install succeeded, and now we can close it. So to access your AD directory users and service, you just type dsa.msc. You can also find it from the search. Maybe you can type it here, active Yeah. So from here as well, you can just find it Active Directory users and computers, and you can click from here to launch your console, right? So you can see that here the Active Directory users and computer consoles has now been opened for me. And since I am logged in with the admin account, which is my domain admin account, I can have a full control over it, right? So you can see here users, the users which I am currently login is the domain admin basically. So here you can see that this is my admin account, right? And if I want to create a new user, you can create a new user as well. So let's just create a new user. So you need to create, just click on this EOU under the contact us and create your new user. So I'm going to create a new user. So new user maybe test one. Maybe I will make it user one and user one. Just don't change the password. For this demo, I'm not changing the password. So the moment you create the your AD users, it is a member of your domain user. So which means this user is a part of this domain user, right? And which have certain rules that will allow you to RDP to your any Windows instance, right? So let's log into this particular instance, which is my test2 machine. So let's log in here, and I need to get the password. So this, oh, sorry, I don't need a password actually. Yeah, I don't need a password because I'm trying to log in with my domain, right? So simply just click on the RDP file, and I already had this RDP file. So just here, instead of local admin, just put your domain credential, which we have just created. What was my username? It was a user one, right? And then enter the credential. Let's see if this user is able to log in or RDP to this instance using the domain credential. So I can see that it is, yeah, I think it is successfully login. So here you can see that, yeah, you are now able to log in with your newly created domain account or domain user account to your Windows instance, which we have domain joined automatically with the instance profile, right? So whatever instance that you're going to join to your AD domain, you can log in with your domain credential, right? So this is how you can create your domain joining to your Active Directory, AWS based Active Directory, right? So AWS Managed Microsoft AD is your best choice if you need actual Active Directory features to support your AWS applications or Windows workload, including your EC2 instance, could be your relational database. It is also best if you want to standalone Active Directory in the AWS Cloud that support or your Office 365, or you need an LDAP directory to support your Linux applications as well, right?